Outlaw Sports is brought to you by Molson Canadian, made from Canada, and Rocky Mountain Barbecue, Alberta barbecue cuisine at its best.
Well, Grant, so much has happened over the weekend, and one thing you can't ignore, and we'll get to both elements, is what happened up in Edmonton with us. And I brought this up to you a month or so ago, and I said, okay, they're talking about changes in Calgary. Sooner or later, they're going to have to look at Edmonton, all the top draft choices they've had. It's pretty easy to sit at the podium and say, well, I'd take so-and-so.
Neil Yakupov.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ryan Nugent-Hopkins.
Absolutely. The list goes on. And but sooner or later, you have to be accountable for your action and your product on the ice. So there's a mirrored kind of thing going on between Calgary and Edmonton right now. But they brought Mac T back. Craig McTavish comes back, and he says, I'm an impatient man. I have to take the risk, and we have to bring more than just having this great team on paper of offensive dynamos with no grit and no size and no defense.
Everybody's saying that right now. And to me, the best explanation was Eric DeHatchik from Globe Sports. He said maybe Steve Tambellini, conservative, nice guy, methodical kind of guy, as a general manager for sure, built the Oilers up properly. Mm-hmm. But maybe he isn't the right guy now to take it to the next step, to make those bold moves. And perhaps that impatience that Craig McTavish's personality has is the guy to do it now. But here's one thing, Mike. We often criticize sports teams so quickly right now. Maybe the Steve Tambellini way is the best way. Long, slow process. But in the world of business, they don't come together. It doesn't work. Oilers want to build a new rink. They want to get fans in the stands and build that. So my point is that maybe McTavish is the best for the quick fix. Let's get it going. Come on, we got to do it. Maybe Tambellini's saying, let's do it this way. Slow and easy gets the trophy.
Maybe it's Kevin Lowe pulling the strings on the puppets. Who knows? I mean, he was very defensive.
Wow, was he ever?
Oh, my God. It's just like, you know, somebody, it was like a personal attack on him. And then he goes, well, you know, I've done this and I've done this. And, well, hold on here. Your team has won.
He was asked something about you're dealing with the past all the time, the same old guys coming around here.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was. And he said, no, I've got more Stanley Cups here. I've won. I know a lot about winning, and we know all about winning.
Yeah.
Very defensive.
Yeah.
And that tells me that maybe he's the guy that should be holding some blame and not necessarily just Steve Tambellini. But I have to agree on the short term, Mike.
Sure.
That the Oilers, they were supposed to be top 8 this year.
Yep.
That if you look at the progression of those young guys, but in respect to the Oilers, did they get those pieces to help those young guys out? And the answer is no.
Well, maybe you have to dangle some of those pieces to make a more well-rounded team, Grant. And the whole thing now.
So his conservative approach bit him in the ass on this one.
I think it did, Grant. I think
on
it
Steve
did.
Tambellini.
Yeah. So, you know, and for years everyone's been saying, oh yeah, they're fun to watch. Well, okay, but they haven't done anything. It's no different than the Calgary Flames, the results, as far as the results go. And I want to ask you this question, Grant. You know, at what point did the Flames say, okay, the only choice we got is to make a change, and maybe it's Ken King that has to go? Maybe it is.
Well, we've touched on that before, that if you really want to analyze the Flame situations, and now you have to look at ownership and the president to make those final decisions about.
Barry Edwards isn't going to fire himself.
No.
And they're not going to fire a new coach.
No.
And Jay Feaster just got here. Who's been here the most? Who's the consistent method?
Ken King.
That's exactly it.
No question about that. But I will give Ken some credit. If this rebuild is going through, at least it's going through now. Everybody agrees you should have done it 2 years ago. Let's not worry about the past so much anymore. We've talked about that. But if this is true right now, and from what I've seen in the last week or so, I like what I see. It doesn't mean success necessarily next year, Mike, but I applaud the ownership, what I'm saying right now, and the president for making the rebuild happen finally. A little too late, but let's get on with it.